Good evening, and welcome to the October 2023 meeting of the Penfield Library Board of Trustees. Thank you for joining us. This is a public meeting and is being broadcasted on Penfield Public Broadcast and is available on YouTube after the meeting. Do I have a motion to adopt today's agenda? Neeraj? Judie seconds. All in favor? Perfect. Our first item of this evening is the approval of last month's minutes and finance report. Does anyone have any comments on the minutes or may I have a motion to approve them?
A motion to approve.
Justin, Neeraj seconds. All in favor? Neeraj, would you like to walk us through the finance report for this month?
Sure. So we're going to start right with the budget summary. I realize this is October, but we have the data through September, and that's 9 months out of the 12 months of the year. So that's 75%. I love to look at that as the threshold. Right now, total expenses are coming in at 67% or 8% better. So overall, right away, we can see that we're doing better by 8%. Where is our positive variance coming from? Well, 13% better on the equipment line. 21% better on the contractual line, and 13% better on the materials line, 21% better on the contractuals, and 4% better on wages. So we're doing pretty good as an organization. Next, we have our operating budget. That's looking good with staying positive, and the gift and memorial balance, that hasn't changed. It's similar to last year. The one thing that I do want to mention this year, the next page that you have, the gift and memorial fund, here you have balances of the Family First Credit Union in Canandaigua. Last month, if you recall, we have 2 CDs maturing at Family First. So right now, the $92,000 is kind of illiquid, but it's going to become very liquid starting in December. Just to point that out, that's going to be good because we anticipate bills to be paid. I'm sure Rhonda's going to talk about some of the capital expenditures. But I do have, we'll end it here. Maybe I'll ask you right now, first after, let's approve this financial presentation, but then I do want to make another suggestion on, we have a CD with Canandaigua National Bank, so I may need a motion for that too. So let's first get a motion for the financials that I presented. Can we get a motion?
Motion to approve.
Judie, Jason, seconds. Perfect. All in favor?
Can I just move on just 1 second for the Canandaigua? So I stopped over at Canandaigua National Bank. I wanted to just peek in, get some free coffee, and then and then I wanted to kind of double check like where we are and everything. And we do have a large CD coming up. It's maturing not soon, okay? It's maturing in 2025 September, but the interest rate is very, very low, 0.16. So I was like, oh my God, what's going on? So it's not a huge thing because interest rates or whatever, but it's starting to creep up. So I talked to the banker over there. We can take that money out early, and it's not much of a expense to take it out early. A penalty of only $35, but we would make it up right away. They have a promotion, a 7-month promotion of about 4%. But I'm sure, because this is a large CD, $42,000, I went to M&T Bank just to negotiate a little. So they have new promo CDs of 8-month, I think is more appropriate for us, of 5.5%. So I think I can wheel and deal and get that 5.5%. I think it's a no-brainer. I just like a motion, so then I can get it in the minutes saying that, hey, Neeraj, let's get rid of the 0.16%, and you're okay with me doing the early withdrawal penalty, and then negotiate your way from the promo rate. I would like some leeway, but of course I'm just gonna try to do the best that I can. The second thing is One thing that happens in Canandaigua National, we don't have a checking or savings. It hasn't been a problem right now just because we've been having CDs and they've been just rolling over. But when I went to India, then Jen was kind enough, but she scrambled and everything because when CDs mature, sometimes we don't have any place to put it. So we have like a live check, right? So the more prudent thing would be is to just set up a savings account. And because we're the Penfield Library, I talked to them, we would get a Community Connect account, it's called, that had no minimum balance, but at least we would get an account where, let's say if a CD matures, it can drop into that savings account seamlessly. So I think that's also a no-brainer. It's not going to happen overnight because I'm sure they're going to ask for some ID number and all that stuff, and I can figure out how to do that. But I'd like the okay to set up that savings account and maybe just fund it with like a nominal like $10 or something, just so then people don't forget it. Is that all right? And then after I get it set up, then hopefully I'll get Jen to be a co-signer on that account, just so should anything happen, like I quit, then Jen or someone has.
So we have two motions.
I do.
First motion's for the checking account to open up checking or savings.
Savings. I think savings is fine. So I think if I can get one motion to open up a new savings account at Canandaigua National, and then can we get a motion for that?
I'll motion for
Jennifer,
that.
second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then can I get another motion to take an early withdrawal of our current $42,000 CD, long-term CD, and negotiate for a better term and rate?
Sure. I'll motion.
Jennifer, then Harish. All in favor?
Okay, thank you so much.
I just want to make, Deanna, do you have the wording for the resolution?
I just need, what's the balance for the CD?
It's about CD, $42,000 about.
Thank you.
I'm not sure exactly.
That's all I was missing.
You know who voted?
Yep.
Okay.
Jennifer and Harish.
Perfect.
Thank you.
I'm looking, does not appear that we have any public participation tonight. We'll move on to the next item. Linda from the town.
Hey, we had the budget hearing for next year, and Rhonda came. She was our one town person that came out in the audience, and we had one person call in, so that was it. And we have on November 1st, we'll pass it. If anybody still wants to look at it, you can see it on the website and make comments. We'll take into consideration, but that's the date that November 1st is the date that we'll do the budget, the $22 million budget for 2024. And otherwise, things are going well. I mean, we have that DPW facility. We had a open house on Saturday. It was really good. Anybody with kids should have come. It was really neat. All the little girls too were all climbing up on the trucks and stuff. And it was a good way to see what the status of the Public Works facility is and the need for a new one, which is what is being proposed for. And it'll probably be done by 2026. It's going to be a while. 27 maybe, but that was good. I don't know, it's just the same. Nothing really new, outstanding happening. The budget's been the primary focus of the past month or so. Anybody have any questions, or can I direct you to something?
That I could think of.
How did the library fare with our budget?
There were no questions, no comments, so I assume it will be passed, but we don't know.
I kind of viewed it afterwards, and it was nice that the supervisor said very nice comments about our library, so that was really nice of her to do.
She did. She was very supportive, and they did invite us to submit pictures of all that we do. I submitted, I don't know, probably 30 pictures, and they used 2, which is fine. I totally understood, but at least we were represented. It was actually, I thought, very well done.
It's positive.
Well, that's good, because I don't always think that the town is that positive in the past for the library.
Well,
So,
there was an explanation
I know
about
you-
what's been going on and,
Yes.
you know, what you've been doing for the renovations within. Everything was mentioned about what's happened at the Bremen Room, the idea of the new carpet, and the painting the walls and all that. That was all brought up. That was all.
It was.
It was sort of showing a status of what's happening and, you know,
I felt
working
that
together. It was supposed
everybody there was very supportive of what we want to do, our mission and our goals and our budget.
Nice.
Glad you felt that way.
Any additional questions for Linda? No? All right. Linda, thank you so much.
Sure.
I'll move on to the next part of our agenda here, Friends of the Penfield Public Library Liaison Report. Judie?
they have been very, very busy. They are giving the library, their book sales went up this year, an extra $5,000. Usually they average between 25 and 30 on a book sale. And this year, they've upped their total amount to $35,000, which is what they're going to donate now to the library. So they are going to, so they were very appreciative of the support from the trustees and the library staff, and very appreciative of Rhonda for, you gave them promotional time on the TV or something.
Well,
the
we
community
do
TV.
try very hard to incorporate the Friends and the Foundation, in our social media, because even though we have we are separate organizations, our missions do come together in the end, so.
Yeah. They're going to have 2 book sales, one in late April for a specific genre, though I don't know if they've chosen that
I don't think they
genre.
have.
Okay. And then one in September that will be an all-genre book sale like we had this past year. They continue to work on a succession plan because their membership is up 54% this year. So that's amazing. And so they're continuing to plan for their volunteer recruitment activities. They targeted a few in '23, but they also had a table at the book sales that encouraged people to sign up to be a friend. So they were, and they're thinking through some, fresh ideas. I think they do a lot of brainstorming, but so they're looking for, how to use these library sales to our advantage. And they said that the social media was their third top driver for book sales and membership. So they are very interested in getting our feedback. And so when they have their meeting, they have a co-presidency now, and they're working on that succession plan so that they don't lose their momentum. So, I don't know, anybody have any questions, ideas, comments that they'd like me to pass along?
That I could think of.
Okay, moving on.
Thank you so much, Judy.
Think about it.
Yeah, think about it, and if, you can always send something to me, so.
No worries. And I don't know, is Kathy out in the hallway?
I have a sense that somebody's out in the hallway. And, the meetings used to be at 7. I did email her 6:30, but she might have missed the email.
Yeah.
Okay. Worst case, we can always continue on and come back.
Just have to sit down and settle down. You might want to keep going for a bit.
Yeah, no worries. I'll wait for Rhonda to at least come back.
Yeah.
So Cindy DeFalco is here, and she's a member of the foundation, but Kathy Weber is not. the board used to meet at 7 o'clock when Kathy Weber was a board member, and I emailed her that we'd now meet at 6:30, but I have a sense that she didn't read that part of the email.
No worries, what we can do, we can just do the committee reports,
Great.
and we can just, we're almost to 7 anyway, so. So we'll move on, we'll come back to the foundation here. So we're going to the next part of the agenda, the committee reports, finance report we've already covered. Anna, anything that needs to go over for the personnel? Jennifer, with strategic planning? No. Justin, with bylaws?
Yes.
Some items to cover?
Lots of policy discussion going on. Last month, the policy committee met, and we went over a couple more policies for our 3-year review. All of you received those documents in the packet. Wasn't like any huge changes so far as like the ethics statement in the succession plan. There was some grammatical changes that we made, just some odd wording in the older documents. I think the only big change we were looking to make was allowing the director discretion to move line items up to a small amount. I think you said what, $2,000? $2,000. Just for end of year stuff, like if something went over by $10 in the budget, the director would be allowed to move money from another line to cover that with the approval of the finance committee. That would be just an email approval for the 3 members of the finance committee. That way it doesn't get bogged down if she has to do something quickly.
Okay.
That's not anything that needs to be voted today. That's just keeping you guys up to date.
All right. Does anyone have any questions for Justin?
The succession plan, we did change a bit, remember?
Yeah.
So just take a look at that. You all have the old plan in the Dropbox, or we can send you copies of the old plan. But the new plan for the succession plan, it took names out because you can't have a plan with specific names. And it just kind of cleaned it up. So make sure you look at that.
Will do.
And just one question, Justin. On the general finance and budget policies draft that we presented today,
Yes.
There were 2 policies that were listed in the original policy from 3 years ago that had never been written, and Deanna and I, cannot find in the file. So I just want to ask the board, would you like us to go ahead and create these policies? One is the library credit card use policy. It has a little asterisk next to it. And the second one is the petty cash policy. I believe we should have these policies, and we can start working on them immediately if you agree. They are very typical policies that boards have.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with it.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
Okay, so.
All right. Well, with that being said, we'll move on to the next item here, communications. Judy, anything?
Don't have anything to say.
All right. And we'll kind of circle back here. Looks like we do have Kathy and members from the Penfield Public Library Foundation, so we'll have them join us for the meeting today.
We have one here. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kathy Weber, and I'm president of the Penfield Public Library Foundation. And this is Cindy DeFalco, and she's a board member also. And so we wanted to talk to you a little bit. First thing first, we're having a wine tasting on November 4th from 2 to 4. It's at the My Wine and Cheese Bar 2 in Fairport. It is our 6th wine tasting and our primary fundraiser, other than a campaign that we do in the fall and early winter. So that first. So anyway, our mission basically is to raise money for the library long-term. I think you'd find us different from the Friends in the sense that if you think about bank accounts, Your checkbook is something you use for short term. And so that would be like the Friends. They pay out, they take money in, they pay it out, most of it during the year, to help the library. We're more long-term. We raise money, we try to grow it over time. That really is the only way that you can grow money. You can't spend it and grow it. So we have been doing something every year for the library. We're thinking, because we did a big thing this year, we might do a small thing or even nothing, depending on how things go financially this year. But all of it is really building an endowment to grow for the future, so that we can be more helpful down the line. So our mission is the library only. We don't give to anybody else. Our business is for you. Okay? We were founded, we're really pretty new. The end of this year, it was the end of our third year. It took a year and a half to do all the legal things that we needed to do to become a foundation and a 501c3. And then we got our message from our lawyer that we were in business about 2 weeks into 2020, and then you know what happened next. But we've become pretty proficient at remote meetings and that sort of thing. So I wanted to tell you, actually, your ancestors on the board, including Neeraj, were the people that approved the funding for our legal work to begin us. And we really were looking around. We had been thinking about this for several years before, as one after another of the libraries in the suburbs around Rochester founded foundations. And we are not a foundation, regrettably, that was founded because we got a great big booyah from somebody's estate. We started from the zero, and we feel like we're doing pretty well over these last 3 years, and we hope to do. We're doing better every year. We hope to continue that. So basically, we accept private donations. They will augment library foundation or funding beyond what taxes can provide. We invest our donations with an eye to the future. Because we don't have huge amounts of money right now, we're pretty much CD investors, but we look for the best rates and, continue to grow what we have. We have conducted annual campaigns. We have conducted wine tastings, which are a pretty, for us, a small board with not very many volunteers, something that's possible for us to do. If you should have an inspiration as to something that was high profit and low need for people, that wasn't alcoholically oriented, we would love to do something for families. Everybody doesn't drink. We'd like to do something that's more inclusive. We have been providing annual support to the library since we opened, and our most recent gift is a subscription to Canopy, which I hope you'll try out. I mean, there's lots of access to a lot of movies, and it's free to you as a card holder in the Penfield Public Library. So immediate needs, really. We're looking for more people. Really, that's our greatest need, is more people, so that we can sort of subdivide things. Right now, because we're so small, we meet once a week, once the first week of the month, to do our board business like you're doing here. And then we meet again for a work session to do what would really be done by committees if we were big enough to have them. But now we're our own committee, and we have had a few volunteers to help us with making posters or sometimes posting on Facebook and like that. But right now, one of those people is sick. The other person has taken on a bigger role in another organization. So she's not as available for us, although she has done our wine tasting poster for November. So that was super great. And we brought a poster so that if you're interested in going, we'll put it up like outside on the wall or something so we don't interfere with what's going on here. But you can use your phone to take a picture of what you need, or it has a QR code, so you can use that. So really, people is what we need, and we'd like to get a closer relationship both with you and with the Penfield Public Library. So that's my part.
Okay.
Cindy takes over now.
Okay. So we can share a little bit with how some libraries provide support to their library foundations, because our mission is to support the library, but we need help to be able to be successful. And I think you're all in a position to be very helpful to us. We're all working towards the same goals. So some libraries provide shared marketing, do cooperative fundraising events, have shared email distribution lists, things like that, that really help get the word out for raising money. Some libraries provide off-hours access to the library for fundraising events. Some have integrated library and foundation websites with a donation option. And let's see, offering dedicated prominent space within the library for us to put up promotional information would be very helpful. Preparing campaign mailings for the annual appeal, that's something that some libraries do provide.
We're not expecting that, but we email. Everything we do is free or as low cost as possible.
Right. But access to an email list would be wonderful. And advertising for foundation volunteer needs on a library website, helping to get the word out. We're currently looking for a board treasurer and a board secretary, and
that's because some of us have been in those positions for quite a long time.
right. And definitely looking for a lot more volunteers. So anything that the library can do or the library board can do to help get the word out about that would be wonderful. I don't know, did you want to talk a little bit about how some of the area libraries and what they're doing?
Well, I would say to you that, first of all, you're a municipal library, okay? So that means that you get your tax money through the town that you serve. I'm sure you know this, okay? Because you're a municipal library, there are legal technicalities about what you can do. You're not supposed to tax and raise money. That's why we can raise money. That's what makes us useful to you. But there seems to be a gray area so that across Monroe County, some libraries do more for their foundations than others. So that's what we're saying is we would love it if you would investigate being able to do more for us than is happening currently. But we know that, this is something that it has to fit in with town philosophy, library philosophy, and also your philosophy. You're the board now. You're the people who are not micromanaging, but setting policy. So that's up to you. So I guess that's really what I want to say. I mean, we can cite chapter and verse on various libraries in the county and outside the county if you're interested sometime, but I'm not sure this is the place. No.
And there are some things that would be very helpful to us if you as a board would think about providing some support. One would be to provide shared marketing, or work with us on shared marketing, cooperative fundraising events, shared email distribution. I'm sorry, I'm on my wrong spot. Be looking for personal support from our fundraising events and our annual campaign. Like Kathy said, we do have a wine tasting coming up in 2 or 3 weeks, and that's our main fundraising opportunity at this point. We would love to see some of you there. We'd love to see you taking our information and posting it on your own social media accounts to help us get the word out to people so we can raise more money to grow an endowment to help the library.
And another thing that's, I'm sorry to interrupt, another thing that's really important is people even knowing who we are and what we do. You know, because when we say, we've had tables at various town events, and the minute we say we're from the Library Foundation, people's minds stop right at library. They think we are you. Okay, they think, you know, they think we represent the library, and we explain that we fundraise for the library, but we are not the library. But the minute, you know, I mean, I think that happens to the Friends somewhat, but the Friends have been around for 45 years. So most people, also they have the book sale, which makes them very identifiable. So it's a little bit more difficult because what we do is less visible. You know, I mean, we're soliciting funds, we're holding events, but we're not holding an event that, you know, 1,000 people come to. So just straightening out who the three entities are that basically are all trying to do something nice for the Penfield Library is something that's great to, you know, let people know just that you're the board, they're the Friends, we're the foundation, you are policy and administration overall. We are fundraising over time. The Friends are fundraising short term. I think that those are good things for people to know, that's all.
No, I appreciate you guys sharing that information. It's very insightful. Does anyone on the board have any questions?
How many members do you have in your organization currently?
We have
There's 4.
4 on the board.
4 on the board, and we have a couple volunteers.
Okay.
Yeah. And the other thing, my other pitch is, you certainly can't be on our board because that's not legit. But you can volunteer for us, you know, just like we volunteer for the Friends. You know, I mean, as long as you're not in a board position, you can help us. So if you feel in the mood, we would love it. Okay. All right, did you have any questions, though? You want to know?
Nothing I could think of. If you guys can just send us an email with some of the bullet points of what the support that you're looking for, we can have it run by the town and legal to make sure that we are in compliance.
Well, since you mention it.
Have some information you can take home with you.
You would like us to do more. Can you explain that more specifically? What is it that you have in mind that is more that can?
Okay.
Quite a few things. Do you mind if I?
Yeah, you
check
talk
with this? Like I said, the personal support for our fundraising efforts would be wonderful. Help in sharing information about us and about our events and the fundraising campaigns would be helpful. As a board, we would greatly appreciate it if you approved the sharing of the library email contact list so that we could get the word out to more people.
Is that legal for us to do?
No.
I don't know.
It's interesting because some libraries do it.
They might do it, but when people sign up for a library card, they're signing up for a library card, a relationship with us. For us to share that email, that contact information to me, and I've told them that how I feel, I think it is a in direct conflict with our initial agreement, unfortunately.
Okay.
But, you know, if you as a board instruct me to do it, I'll do it.
I mean, this is really how we got our start because we did have the original 3 years ago, we got a list. But our list is old, you know, so.
Do you still use that list?
Yeah, we do.
It's pretty
But,
much
you know,
all we
people can
have.
opt out. Anybody can opt out.
Of course.
Yeah,
Sure.
so.
We would love it if you would add a foundation liaison to your agenda so that you're getting updates from us in person or a written summary before your meetings. And we'd like to find some way to establish regular communication between us and you.
Yes, and I'm glad you mentioned, I was going to, offer that as something that we can do kind of going forward. Look what we do with the Friends of the Library. It's a real easy way to keep communication open and the news up to date. Some of those other things we'll have to look at and see what the board's comfortable with and kind of review it from there.
If there's one thing that you feel would really improve or help the foundation, would you say it's getting more volunteers, more members of the foundation?
I can't say just one thing. I think it definitely is more volunteers and more members. I think that's very important.
Because more members and more volunteers then would get your word out to more people.
Yeah, it would.
And would allow you to expand who you get in contact with.
Yeah, and also what we do, what we can do. I mean, we're 4 people. We work pretty hard.
Of course.
But we're pretty, we're a pretty well-oiled machine now because you have to be, we can't operate if everybody isn't doing their part of it. So people is one, and just awareness is the other, and awareness of what we do, and people. I think those are the most important. Yes, we raise money. That's a byproduct of those things, though. I mean, how much we raise really depends on personal connection. It really does. We get more contributions from people that know us.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Kathy, just a question to follow up. You talked about more members. What's an ideal member for you? Can you describe that?
Well, there's a spectrum. For one thing, I think you have to love the library. But I don't.
Down. Love library. Okay.
Love library. That's it. If you don't love the library, of course, I don't think you'll be interested. But I think you have to love the library. You need to have an interest and passion. You need to have. It helps us really if you have a specialty that helps us. So if you know something about marketing, if you know something about not-for-profit legalities, if you know something about
fundraising,
if you know something about budget and QuickBooks,
event planning.
If you are just like a people person and know a lot of people in this community, that is very powerful. Those things. And also, I would say that we're all on the, either retired or close to it side. So we can sort of infer what people younger than we would like to do or would like to have. But we also, we could use younger members. I mean, otherwise, we depend very much on Rhonda to tell us what she thinks the library needs. We don't determine that when we give money. We say, we have this much, what can you do with it? But the ideal member, I think, also dependable and reliable. Somebody you can count on.
Okay.
And because we're so small at this point, we can be very flexible. Pretty much any interest that someone has, we have a need for, and we can find something for them to do.
Or they can, just come to meetings and see where they fit. Yeah. Because sometimes you hear somebody talk about something and you think, I could do that. But you wouldn't think of it out of the blue until you sort of hear the need.
Okay.
So.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
What social media platforms are you on?
We have our own website. We've had one, and we're just getting a new one. And we have Facebook. That's it.
All right. So no TikTok, Instagram,
No.
Snapchat.
We're so small. It's just really those are time-consuming things. And also, we don't have the skill set, I don't think, among us to do
Not
it
yet,
for
no.
everybody, no.
So that's
All right.
something.
So
we
come
need
on down.
help with, too.
Yeah, so we'd love to be all over the place, but we have a very small presence.
All right.
They always take out an ad in the recreation brochure, which I think is the best thing they could do. And reach, it's right next to the library news, so I think people see their name there. They gave us a year of Canopy, so on our website, when somebody goes to check out something from Canopy, every time they do that, they do see their name there. I mean, we are trying to help them in
Yeah.
their goals.
No, and we appreciate it,
Yes,
we do.
definitely.
I mean, anytime that we're associated with you, it makes it clear that we're legit and we're not like some sneaky fly-by-night that's going to run off with their money, I think we want people to know that, we are legitimate, we do support you, and that we are working to support you more and better in the future.
So when they said they had some funding, how would I like to use it? We didn't just buy something with a little plaque. We thought about something that would send their name out.
Yeah.
Which is, when the year of Canopy is up, they can give us more money for Canopy, or we can find another product that would do something similar, because we are very much working to help them. I know that they're upset about the email list, and we can talk about that, but, that was my reaction to that question. Based on my experiences in other libraries, we never shared that, so.
Yeah, and it's just, like I said, it's a call. It's somewhere in that gray area,
Have you had a membership drive or considered a membership drive? Like, I don't know, coffee and donuts some morning and put it on the website or on social media and see who shows up? I mean, I don't know. I don't know how other.
Well, I've seen the tables outside the library that the Friends do, and I think it's a great idea. Really, we're down to two people, well, really one person that could do that. I'm immune suppressed. I can't do that. It's not a very smart idea for me personally, but also because the minute you put on the mask, it is a barrier to communication. Like, a lot of people can't hear you. A lot of people who don't have good hearing are lip reading and don't know it. The minute I put on the mask, they don't know what I'm saying, So, yes, I think that's a great idea, and I think, maybe we can do it, or if we have a time of the year when there's not as much COVID. I mean, I don't know what it is right now. I think it's a little better than it was, but just in August, there was like a flare. Who expects that?
We do have posters up at the rec center and inside the library on easel stands that we're looking for volunteers. We're not really a membership organization, but we're looking for volunteers.
Yeah, we're
and
not chartered
board
for members, exactly, not like the Friends, But we certainly can take volunteers.
Absolutely.
So, okay, instead of a membership drive, you're looking for a volunteer drive.
Volunteer drive, yeah, exactly. So bring on the donuts, I think that's a great idea.
And, yeah.
Just to add something, I know we're talking about a contact list. I would support the director's position on this.
Yeah.
As a public trust, right, we have that, we have it, we don't want to lose it. There's a term out there, PII, public, or personally identifiable information, which is like an email address, like your name, like your phone number. And that's really sensitive to anything cybersecurity. So, no. But we should look at other ways, right? Understanding the relationship and how our relationship is growing. The things that we're going to do together are not identified yet. And so we'll just keep it going down the road. So I really appreciate the enthusiasm that you guys are sharing. And we're like, I'm excited, I'm fairly new. So I'm like, oh, what can we do? And I don't look at no's as like, hey, we can't do that forever. What can we do? And just being optimistic
Yeah,
about it.
I mean, even the wine tastings, it's been really good for us, but we can't keep doing the same thing forever. There has to be some novelty every once in a while. It's like going to the same restaurant for a while and you love it and you keep going and going and all of a sudden you're tired of it.
And we definitely would like to involve families.
We like to bring in families and adults that aren't interested in wine. that's a large group, so we like to do something that is more fun for everybody.
Yeah, you did open it up with, you really want people to love the library. Like, whoa,
Yeah.
there's a demographic below 18.
Yeah,
Like, oh,
yeah,
and they
we
could
do.
solve your social media issue in at least 20 minutes, right?
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
Thinking about fundraising, did you ever consider some of the restaurants that do, like if they have the dinner, like Panera, if you go to Panera on between 5 and 7 on Tuesday night, and whatever percentage of their profits go to the foundation, or some of those ones that have like the chicken barbecues, things like that would be a nice way to bring together the community, because you could do that, like if you can see if you can do that at the parking lot by the library, like, the pickup and stuff like that.
Saturday or something, or open.
And then it kind of brings your patrons from the library, the people together, making that connection between the foundation and the library, but not the same,
Yeah, I think those are good
A
ideas.
couple friend or family kind of activities.
Yeah.
I think especially as we grow and have more people to help out.
And feel free to reach out to us. I know that we got the email from Brett about the wine tasting,
Yeah.
and I did that in the past. I've done that in the past. and
I
it
know,
is a
I
lot of
remember,
fun.
yeah.
It was online at the it was on Zoom at the time that when we did it, but. But if you have a need for volunteers for specific things, make sure that you reach out to us, because we don't know how we can help if we don't know what you need for those specific kinds of volunteer positions.
Fantastic.
Oh, here's an ask for you. This is a specialized ask. I've been writing a little series for our website, and anything that we have, we put it everywhere, called the Transformational Library. And it's basically, so far I have 2 people, a person who was president of the Friends and also a 7-year-old. And these are people that feel that the library either is changing their life or changed their life, like in a fabulous, outstanding, unbelievable way. Okay, so I don't know if you know Mike Sanchez from the Friends, but his story is an amazing one. I mean, without somebody that took him and a bunch of kids to the library, he wouldn't have had the life he's had. And the 7-year-old, I mean, she is with her family every week at the library, and it's made her a fabulous reader, and her siblings are following in the same path because they've seen it happen. So if there's some of you that would be willing to be interviewed and tell how the library has changed your life, influenced your life, made your life better, I'd be thrilled to interview you and write it up. And I will tell you honestly, before it goes out to the public, you will read it and comment on it. I'm not doing like some kind of discovery reporting people. But I want it to represent you and represent you well. Yeah.
Okay. Appreciate it.
Okay. Well, thanks so very much.
You're welcome, guys.
We're going to put our poster out in a prominent place for you guys when you're on your way out, in case you want to get some information.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Please do post it on your own social media.
Yeah. Well, they all have copies now, so if you want to pass it on, that would be grand. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for coming.
Perfect. So we'll move on. So the next item on our agenda is the director's report. Rhonda?
Great, thank you. So circulation is slightly up, which is really fantastic. Overdrive is also up, which we all expected. People count is slightly down. Not sure why, especially because September it felt so busy. Gosh, it felt so busy. But department heads are preparing for annual staff evaluation meetings, which have already begun and should be finished by the end of October. Again, this is the second year we have done this. It had not been done in quite some time before I took the position, so we are looking at these meetings as simply discussions, a time to get together one-on-one, sometimes two with one, just to discuss how things are going and learn more about how our staff can be supported. I have some news about the Bremen room, which is not great. The paint is done, and the paint looks beautiful, but I learned yesterday and today we got confirmed that we're going to have the tile floor under the carpet removed by an asbestos removal company, an asbestos abatement company. So when they first came a month ago, they pulled up some carpet, didn't say a word to us because the contractor chose to send the tile out for testing without telling us. And of course, it came back that the tile itself has asbestos in it. So nobody's in any danger, nobody's been breathing anything, but the town feels quite strongly that the tile should be removed before the new carpeting is put in. This will take at least 2 weeks, so this is quite a delay. So now we're looking at hopefully this project being done mid-November. So I just want to send a shout-out thank you to the Recreation Department, because we had planned for this project to be 4 weeks total. I actually thought it would be 2 weeks, but I made it 4 weeks just to be safe. But so we hadn't planned big programs, but we have many programs coming up, and the Recreation Department has been extraordinarily generous with their rooms, and they are allowing us to have most of the programs as if they have rooms available. So thank you to the Recreation Department. And we told them the news today, and they agreed and happily agreed to continue to support our programming until we are on our own feet. So we're still looking for chairs. It's not easy to find chairs, so but we will. Lots of meetings. The Friends had the sale. I'm meeting with the Friends next week. We're going to get them a cake and thank them for all that they do from the staff, and talk to them about next year's budget. We did quite a bit of outreach this month. We did the town health fair. We did the Penfield health fair. One is by the staff and one is by just the town. And then we did Taste in the Blues, which I don't know if you saw that number. We spoke to 353 people. Wow. If we were clicking correctly, because it's not so easy when there are people lining up to get chili. But it was a really wonderfully fun day. So, and again, thank you for the rec department for letting us do that. They've been so great. We did start our pop-ups again, so for staff members, including Deanna, did a pop-up, and we had interactions with 100 people while we handed out cake. That was a lot of fun. Went to the board meeting. We had mandatory emergency action plan training with Jeff David, who's the town of Penfield fire marshal. We had 2 different sessions, plus 4 staff members are actual we're fire wardens and site coordinators. And thank you to the staff who stepped up to have these roles, and thank you to Jeff David, because this training was extremely valuable. Really was wonderful. We have a community jigsaw puzzle. We're up to like 4 puzzles already. They just keep finishing them, and we're starting again. So that's really fun to see people just sitting there doing puzzles. I did forget to put on this list, and I just want to make a note that Natalie Birch, our children's librarian 1, has been promoted as of October 1st to librarian 2, and it's a very well-deserved promotion, so congratulations to Natalie. Any questions about any programs or anything that's going on?
I want to go back to the asbestos thing. So
yes, of course.
I know that, sorry to, if anyone had any questions. With that being said, and I'm sure that's probably going to, have us go over budget. When you find out, please let us know so we can.
Right. So the contractor gave a price to the town, and the town really needs to have it done by somebody on state contract. So they had somebody come in today who's on state contract, and they were waiting for the quote. They didn't have it today, but once they have it, they will present it to the town. And I don't know at this point if we will be asked for this difference. I know the original quote through the contractor was in the $20,000 range. But I don't know what the state contract would be. So that, I assume it would be lower, because you typically is. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Please keep us updated. I know you will, but
Yeah, I mean, we will push, really, honestly, this is a town building. At this point, this was not something that the library did. This is originating from the town. We asked for the update. We didn't know about this. I hope the town will take care of it, but I just don't know.
okay. Does anyone else have any other questions or comments? No?
Does that bring up concerns about the rest of the library?
And I asked that question, you know, they showed me what the tile looks like, and I said, do you know if this is under the rest of the carpeting? And they don't know. They won't know until they start pulling up.
Because the
So
carpets
all
would
the
be
more
good.
reason that we need a new library.
It is upsetting and frightening to think that we've been on this. But again, I've been told that there was no danger.
Yeah.
But,
No,
you
it's
know,
just one of those things that if people in the town hear about it and start, it's like the.
Well, I don't think it really is that, though.
Okay.
I mean, if it hasn't been disturbed, if it's
Yeah.
not cracked or broken or anything, it's just part of the material, right? That's what I understand.
I understand this. I mean,
Maybe some of you know better. I mean, is there-
In the 1950s, tile was asbestos tile, you know? And normally you cover it up because it costs so much to tear it all up, right? So. I'm
That's
not
what was
sure-
done.
I'm not sure why this has become an issue. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
It has to be disturbed in order for it to be
So it's-
airborne.
So you must have
For
disturbed
you, an
it when they
inhaler,
were
yeah.
taking it.
Yeah.
As opposed to in the previous times. Because
Probably
this
not
is-
realizing
This is
it's
not the
changed.
first carpet that's been there since 1955.
And I said that because
obviously.
the 99% of the carpet of the floor will not be disturbed.
Yeah.
It's because that we're pulling up.
It's the tile.
It's tiles. We have carpet tiles, carpet squares. It's not like a full carpet. So we're pulling up squares of carpeting and we're seeing full intact tiles. I don't really understand why we have to
Right.
take it all up.
I think that's the answer, though.
Well, I think it's
because
an
it got
OSHA thing
disturbed.
now.
Yeah.
Something
Might be.
happened to it, it broke or something, you know, as
Yeah.
opposed to normally you just cover it up, and take it off and cover it up again. I mean, this is 1955 building. It went through schools and libraries.
But it
But
makes-
all schools have had to abate their,
Is the updated,
yep, not even as they've updated,
Yeah.
just based on,
Public buildings
Yeah.
are,
Yep.
have to be, if it's found, it has to be.
It
yeah.
has to be.
It has
Yeah.
to be.
Appreciate that, Rhonda. Please keep
Yeah.
us updated. Any other questions? No? We'll move on to the next item. There's no unfinished business from last month. We'll go on to new business, the 2024 holiday calendar.
Right, so every year we come to you with a list of the library closings, and typically we just keep doing from the year before. This is my second year, and I had some questions about it. So the top of your list is just what we would normally just do without thinking. This is what we did last year, this is what we did 15 years ago, moving on. But I just want to bring up some possible options. So Staff Training Day is usually, has always been traditionally on Veterans Day. And it kind of ties our hands on what we can do for Staff Training Day. It's almost impossible to get somebody from the outside to come in to talk to our staff when they have the day off. In the past, I've taken staff to like MCLS for a tour of how they do things and all the programs they have, but MCLS is closed on Veterans Day, so I can't do that. The Directors Council was was provided with a visit to the Rochester Science and Museum Center for an exhibit on racism in Rochester with signage and about how images are so important. And so I called them because I thought that would be amazing for our staff to go to. And they said, well, yes, you could, but not on that day. So it kind of ties my hands a little bit. So I was wondering if in 2024, so hard to say that, in 2024, maybe we didn't have a designated day for Staff Training Day, that we would kind of keep it floating until I can organize a good staff, a staff training day that would really bring some true benefits to the staff, and just not, have it, perhaps not on that day. It might still be on that day. It might be that I can figure stuff out for that day, but I would like some options if possible.
Rhonda, I always wondered why that the library was closed on a day that school was closed, because you do programs on all the other days, like Columbus Day and whatnot. And I always wondered why, and and so it kind of would be helpful probably for the children, at least the children's librarians, to have that day when they have more children
Yeah.
available too. I would support you having a floating day for that, so your hands aren't tied. You don't want to waste a day that you have all your staff to train and to just do something that you don't want to do, or not your first choice.
Right.
It seems like a waste.
And I would come to you 3 months ahead, I would start planning, 4 months ahead, come to you 3 months ahead, ask for this date, tell you what I have planned, and if you agree that it's worthwhile, we would close on that date. We would publicize it, of course. It would just be a different date.
Yeah, and I would think during the school calendar, a day where the school's closed, that's when your traffic potentially will be greater because the kids are off and might need those resources. So, yeah, I think it makes sense to have that floating holiday. Do we have a motion to approve it? Neeraj first, Jennifer second. All in favor? Perfect.
Thank you.
Move on to the unattended child policy.
So you're going to say something about the Christmas too?
Yeah, so the second thing is, okay, so we are traditionally closed the day after Christmas Eve and after Christmas, the next day we are closed, and it's been that way for a very long time. And before we even discuss this, I will tell you very clearly that if we change this, it will be very unpopular with most of the staff. They will come to me, and might come to you. They'll be very unhappy. But I just feel that I need to talk to you about this because the other libraries are not closed on this day. So I think people must be coming to the library assuming it's open. It's not an actual holiday. It's just a holiday that was created for the staff. I don't know how many years ago. I know it's a very long time ago.
So we're traditionally open the day after Christmas or not?
We are closed the day after Christmas.
I don't think I've ever had a job where we got the day after Christmas off. Half the time I don't even get Christmas Eve off.
I think it depends on how the holidays fall.
Yeah. Right.
Whether or not you get that. So typically you're talking about the 26th,
Right.
correct?
The 26th.
Have we ever surveyed or found out what kind of traffic other libraries have?
Well, they're all open.
It would be good to
It's
know
just
if
a
they're
regular
having,
day.
not peak days, but they're
Right.
having more than 10 people, right?
Are
I'm
we
just
open
wondering.
Christmas Eve?
No.
No.
No, we're not open. Okay.
We're closed Christmas Eve, which that's fine. I have no issues with. We're closed Christmas Day, wonderful. My question is, should we remain closed the day after Christmas because our staff has come to expect it as a perk and they like it? Or should we choose another day that is an actual holiday to close? And I know that we have talked in the past about, Martin Luther King Day makes sense to me. I know a lot of libraries, so I'll tell you, 22 libraries in 2023 were closed for Martin Luther King Day. 17 libraries in 2023 were closed for Juneteenth. 17 libraries were closed for Columbus Day or Indigenous Peoples Day. 16 libraries were closed the day after Thanksgiving, which, as a manager, I would vote for because it's impossible to staff the desk. It's really, really hard to staff. You come to a point where you have to say, okay, no more. No, nobody can take off because everybody wants that day off. But that's also not a holiday. So to me, I would love to be able to say to the public that, yes, we're going to be closed Martin Luther King Day as a statement, or Juneteenth as a statement of solidarity with our patrons, with our mission. But, I'm just bringing this up. And like I said, the staff will be very upset. I'm positive. So just putting this all out there.
What about the idea of offering a floating holiday? Do you ever, does
We
that
could do
ever
an
thought of?
extra floating holiday.
Where you can, instead of having, so if somebody has something happening on December 26th, they can take that as their floating holiday, or they can take Juneteenth or take Martin Luther King Day, so that you don't have to close the whole library, but they'll give them that day still, that they'll have a holiday?
So we do.
Oh, you do?
When we reviewed the employee manual, and I know there was a big document, so I'm sure most of you have forgotten, we give the staff one floating holiday And then if any of these major holidays come out on a Saturday or Sunday, they get a second floating or a third floating, depending on how it goes. So they do have one floating holiday.
Okay.
Have you asked for their input? If you can't have the 26th, would you rather have Martin Luther King or what, I mean,
I can go back to
Juneteenth?
the staff
I mean,
and
at
ask
least you're
them
getting
this.
input from them,
I
and
also,
they're
though,
getting,
I do kind of like Jennifer's idea, and I think that makes sense. Like my employer, they added, they call it our diversity float day. And that's so that if you have a particular holiday day that's of significance to you, you know, you can say, okay, I mean, we can use it whenever, but that's kind of the intention behind it. So I wonder about that, you know, they have an additional floating holiday, and then if there is somebody who, because for the last 20 years, they've had the 26th off, and they're like, well, we always have plans, okay, then, you know, whatever number of people are allowed to be out that day could have that, and then rather than, you know, potentially making some kind of statement that we're closing on one of these holidays, and then have people be like, well, how come we were closed for, you know, Indigenous Peoples Day, but not Juneteenth or Martin Luther King Day, and, you know, there's
so they
always-
would have 2 floating holidays,
Yeah,
is what we're saying?
yeah. So basically take that, you know, the 26th that they would normally have, everybody gets the 26th off, and just you have an additional floating holiday. And maybe that would also help to ease that change, because I can understand from the perspective of the staff, if you've had that day off for the last 15 years, to all of a sudden have that change, I can understand why some people might be upset, or some people might not care. Some people might say, I would prefer to take another day off during, you know, the year that would be more, you know, beneficial.
Right, I think, my feeling is, I like the more flexibility that you were saying, Megan. Like, my culture, we celebrate Diwali, right? I mean, we're saying that, hey, we'd like to make a statement, so I don't think it's a statement for me, right? Chinese New Year, we don't see a statement, why don't we add, over here, we should say, could we have other options? Why don't we see Diwali? Why don't we see Chinese New Year?
Rosh Hashanah.
Why don't we see a lot of it? I mean, I understand that we pointed out Martin Luther King and all these other things, but when I see that list, I see that it's not being inclusive.
I mean, I would suspect the reason those ones were on there is because those are federal holidays, so that's when like schools and stuff would be.
But at the same point.
No, absolutely, I understand your point that flexibility
So like
does
when
help.
they say that I'd like to make a statement, then I take offense to that. So like, I'd like to make a statement too. There's 26 days until Diwali, by the way.
I've seen your countdown. But yeah, I think having, you know, an additional day would kind of, you know, again, that way if people have something that's of cultural, religious, you know, significance to them. And if they don't, then use that when it's best for you and your family.
So essentially, we're talking about, do we take away a vacation day, or not a vacation day, a planned day off on the 26th completely, or do we give them the ability to then have, you know, a select or open up, you know, a different day? I mean, the other days are a little tougher just because, again, you're taking off days that, and we're doing it with the 26th too, where schools are closed, and not having access to the library, like in, you know, November, if the SAT scores, kids, you know, study for that, or even June with end of year exams, it's tough to have a facility that is meant to nourish and facilitate that environment just completely closed. Rhonda, so what do you need from us tonight to decide whether or not the 26th is open or no?
Well, I'm not sure.
Okay.
But I would like to comment, though, that my intention was not to lose an actual holiday, because I think that staff would be even more upset if we lost a holiday. A floating holiday is lovely, but it's not the same as the library closing and nobody worrying about anything and not having to cover for the desk and not have to cover for a program or whatever else. A day when the library is closed is a day when we all just relax. A day that we have an extra floating holiday, everybody's still chaotic and thinking about work and looking at their email. So it's not quite the same. I don't really want to lose this holiday.
How long has it been this way in Penfield?
At least 15, 20 years, I believe.
So it's become kind of like a standard, like the
It has.
former operating procedure. So the only difference this year is the fact that Christmas is in the middle of the week.
I'm just, I just noticed it, and I wanted to bring it up to you, and you had mentioned that you would kind of like to have Juneteenth off a few months ago.
Well, and I think so, because that is a national holiday now. I mean, and I think you're supporting exactly what Neeraj said about the diversity of, different
Is that
groups of
supporting
people.
what you're saying?
Really,
Not
I mean,
really.
I don't think so. That's not my opinion of it. I'd like Diwali added.
So should we just leave it as it is and just keep it the 26th? I'm not
think
sure where this,
you would
I mean,
make
I know
it-
that we all want to make the staff happy, and we all want the community to have a library functioning, so I don't know really what the answer
I think
is.
for this year, it makes sense to just keep it
Keep it.
as status quo. I mean, we could take a vote.
And maybe you can survey, and just get some feedback from the staff about, that second floating holiday, or what would it take to have just a skeleton staff on whatever, the day after Christmas, and not have any programs going, just have the library open.
Well, but in
There's always
school
something.
break, it might be difficult to have a
Yeah,
skeleton
there's
staff.
always something going on.
And if you think about, if we're the only library that's closed on the 26th, then if somebody really needed something, that day, then, there are other libraries to go to, just as we were open on Indigenous Peoples' Day and Webster was closed.
Right.
So people who needed something from Webster could come down the
came right
road.
For the system, yes, we're catering to Penfield, but for the system, it's nice to have some places open if they needed to get.
Yeah.
And we're not such a, you can move, you can drive 20 minutes and you can get basically anywhere.
So, okay, so then I have a question. So we were talking about Veterans Day is normally staff training day. But if we're moving staff training day, if the library is already accustomed to being closed on Veterans Day for staff training, could you change the holiday to Veterans Day? And then, because obviously staff training is going to be happening on a different day, but the community is already accustomed to the library not being open for Veterans Day.
I had that same thought, because if people are used to the library being closed on Veterans Day anyways, and then, not that the staff will not still be upset, but to be able to say, but you're getting this day off instead, if that would go over.
Because I'm just thinking about some of the I know my daughter for 3 years running Indigenous Peoples Day, they always get somebody from the fire department in, and 3 years running, when she knew school closure was coming up, she's like, we're going to the library, right? We're going to go see the fire truck. So that would be, that would be one of my thoughts with closing on a day that people are accustomed to there being programming and things, is there may legitimately be kids who, are like, but we always go to the library Martin Luther King Day, or something like that.
And you guys do a pretty good job of, on those holidays, doing activities that still honor
that
whatever
holiday.
it is, or bringing awareness.
Okay.
So do you need a vote?
So I guess that thought then is that we would keep the closings as is. We just wouldn't have staff training on November 11th. And are you saying then that we would be open in 2024 on the 26th?
Correct.
Wait, open
No,
or
it would
closed?
be closed.
No, still closed.
Keep it the same.
Still closed?
Close, yeah.
Okay, so you're giving them another holiday, you understand? That's great with me.
Oh,
How is that giving
Because they would
another?
get Veterans Day.
because they're going to be off on Veterans
Right, no,
Day.
I was
Oh, I thought you were going to open the
thinking,
library on Veterans Day, I'm sorry.
right,
I thought you were-
I had the opposite thought, that if we're open on, or closed on Veterans Day, then have the 26th of
Oh, they
December
get
be
both.
open.
Yeah.
I thought you meant to, if we're not doing staff training day on November 11th, then that staff training day was going to change to another day that was going to be fluctuating.
Right.
Based on what you can plan, so that the library would be open on the 11th,
Right.
is what I thought.
So what
And-
Anna is suggesting, that instead of being closed on the 26th, we'd be closed on Veterans Day
And open on the 26th.
and open on the 26th.
Currently, they're open, well, technically, you're closed to the
that's what you
public
said.
on
Okay.
Veterans
Oh, I got
Day.
you.
Right, but the
Okay.
staff are still.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And everybody gets vacation time, isn't that correct? So if you needed to take the 26th off, then wouldn't you apply for a vacation day that
Yes,
day?
and the staff does have I think, a generous vacation package. I'm sure they're all watching this and becoming upset. I do want to just speak for them and say that as library workers, and in every library I've ever been in, it's been exactly the same thing, because municipalities close down for every federal holiday. Library staff members who are municipal employees don't get those same days off.
Mm-hmm.
So it can,
And I think
it's part of the deal, because we're libraries, we should be open when the kids are out. We should. When the students, I shouldn't say children, because sometimes they're college students as well, or adult students. So as a director, I would say that I like Anna's idea, but I will speak from the staff and tell you that they will not be happy. So I just want you to know this.
So we're talking about being open Veterans Day.
No.
Closed Veterans Day and open on the
Open on the
26th.
26th.
That's fine with me.
Yeah, I think that's.
I'm fine with that, and
Compromise.
I think too, to Judy's point, there is time off, and at this point, 2024, I mean, December 2024 is over a year away at this point, so I think that would also give people an opportunity to adjust. It's not like we're just this
Yeah.
year saying, oh,
I
sorry,
was
everybody
confusing
comes
it,
in
thinking it
on
was
the-
this year, so that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
you
it took
need to
me a
vote now,
second too, because I was like,
yeah.
that's kind of short notice.
Okay.
Yeah, so just to recap, like open on the 26th and then closed on
Day.
Veterans Day.
Veterans Day.
I think that's good.
And that staff training day will be
Yeah.
moved to a day that
Whatever Rhonda says.
Rhonda is able to arrange for
Okay.
a meaningful.
And you may get some survey information from them that,
If we're
Brings
making
you
this
to a-
decision, I don't know if I want to survey them also. I think that,
okay, don't survey them then.
you know, because
Sometimes too much information is.
I think we're just making the decision right now
Yeah, I
for
think that makes sense.
2024.
And we can always change it again.
We can always
come
change it
2025.
again.
Yeah, so I think the motion we're looking for to pass is to be closed Veteran Day, but to be open the 26th. Do I have a motion to approve that?
I will make the motion.
So it would be approving the library closings as is with the amendments made.
Correct. And us, first, Megan, you second there?
Yep.
All in favor? Perfect. We'll go on to the unattended child policy.
You don't need us to do anything about the staff training, because that takes care of that.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right.
So the remainder of the new business is the policy review that we've been doing for the past couple of months. So for the sake of expediency, we could probably table that for now and do the approval next month for what we have done, or,
Well, I mean, were there any
The unattended
questions about, because
child
those were the
policy?
ones.
I mean, that one we didn't
We
change.
discussed.
Yeah, we discussed it last month.
all of those
Yeah, we
last
discussed all
month,
of these
so
last month.
I would think
If there was
unless
any-
anyone had any concern.
We can vote to adopt
Okay to
them.
vote.
Yeah.
Let's do one at a time to be.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, for Deanna's sake.
So do we have a motion to approve the attendant child policy? Neeraj first, Megan second. All in favor? Perfect. Do we have a motion to approve the workplace violence policy statement? Harish, Jason second. All in favor? Library board document schedule.
We made the changes that Harish, you had suggested.
Yes.
So it does say which ones are town approved. And I added one that I found, the financial donation procedure that just hadn't been on the earlier edition, so
Perfect. Do I have a motion to approve that? Jennifer, second. Harish, all in favor? Go to the next item, Penfield Public Library Board of Trustees, new trustee search policy. Do I have a motion to approve that, Megan? Jennifer, second. All in favor? On to the next one, Penfield Public Library Board of Trustees, new trustee search procedure. As it was written last meeting, do I have a motion to approve that? Harish, Judie, second. All in favor?
thank you.
It's like the claims payment here, Harish, you were.
Thank you so much.
Wasn't there?
We have one more thing, we have one more thing. we
Oh
just
my
need to
gosh,
talk
good
about.
Dave, sorry.
Dave Thomas.
Yes, very important.
Sorry, yes.
We,
So,
go
yeah,
ahead.
go ahead.
No, I'll let you.
So we have had, for many, many years, a patron who came in pretty much daily, and it's a very nice man who passed. so nice. His family called up and said that they wanted to do something for the library, but they wanted to do something for the library, and they wanted to do something very meaningful now. So they said, go to the staff and talk to the staff and see what they want. You know, it's kind of like a wish thing. So I went to the staff, and one staff member came up with this idea because this particular patron, I only know him a year and a half. He's a really nice man, but he had very strong relationships with the staff. So everybody was very upset when he passed. So one staff member said that every day he'd come in and go to the newspaper. And we have like this really weird newspaper rack that is not conducive to reading newspapers. And like for months I've been looking at this, and I've been like, newspapers are still here. I know, like 5 years ago, they were talking that they wouldn't, but we have many people coming in every single day to read the newspaper. So this particular patron would come in, Dave Thomas, and he would pick up the newspapers, and he'd sit in a chair, and he'd read all the newspapers, and he'd come and talk to all of our staff members. So one of our staff members had the idea of creating like a little newspaper reading nook, buying a real newspaper stand, you know, like a real big wooden newspaper stand, and they're expensive, about $1,200–1,300, and then putting around it 4 or 5 nice leather seats, and then putting a little plaque up. So I went to the family, I said, what do you think of this idea? And they thought it was perfect, and I think it's perfect, so I'm really happy about it. And they said yes, you know, that they would like to pay for this. So I said, you know, whenever we receive a donation of this size, the board has to approve it. So they're willing to provide $5,000 to $10,000 for this project.
Wow.
I've gotten pricing already for like these nice soft leather because leather's not great in libraries, but you know, it looked like leather and it'd be nice and soft. They're about $1,300 to $1,500 each, you know, the ones that we're finding through state contract. And if the board agrees to accept this donation for this specific purpose, we would need to vote on that, and then they would give us a check, and we would put it into our budget, and the town would then vote on it as well to accept this donation, and then we would buy this furniture within the next, 3 months.
Okay, so that's a wonderful way to
It's a very nice tribute to him.
That is. I love that it's something connected to him, not just, you know.
And it's tangible.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a couple of meetings about it. Natalie thought of this, and we all like looked at it. As soon as she said it, we were like, that's it. That's exactly it. So
where are you going to put it?
Well, so do you know where the newspapers are now? They're kind of on the side. It's very strange. But just before that, there's a little seating area with 4 of our old chairs. So we're going to make that bigger and put the 5 chairs around the newspaper right there. So it's not in the back of the library or by the books. It's kind of like if you go straight past the circulation computers, it's like over there before you get to the DVDs.
Okay. Perfect.
Nice.
Do I have a motion to approve that donation? Jennifer? Second? Jason? All in favor? Sorry. Thank you. We'll go on to the claims
Thank you.
payment. Harish, your turn.
Sure. I motion to approve vouchers for October totaling $25,745.65.
Do we have Megan? Neeraj, second. All in favor? Perfect. And it looks like for November, it's Anna, and then December, Justin. And with that, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Neeraj, do I have a second?
Made it in there.
Megan, thank you. All in favor? Perfect. Go adjourn.
I think it was a very